I'm Karen.
Wait, now go.
Hi, I'm Karen Boudreau, and I'm here showing you how you can use Crafters Workshop stencils to start Zentangling. There's a lot of people out there that are really afraid of Zentangling because it looks complicated, it looks very difficult to do, and it's not. But what I do is when I start teaching some folks, if they're really afraid of trying to do something really free-form, I take Crafters Workshop stencils because they lend themselves to this so well, and I put them down and I take a piece of them. And as you can see, I've just taken a piece of this stencil that I've used a lot, and I just use a piece of it to outline it. This is a larger one, and then I use some of the dividing lines. If you're familiar with Zentangling is repetitive patterns within a divided shape. Usually they're free form, but for those folks that are afraid of it, this works really well. So I take and give them the shape that they can put out there, and then they can let loose doing some of the tangling that you can do. And it's really a simple thing to do. You can take this, especially for you. You have a child, you need to reduce the stress and the craziness. So what you can do is you can just have drawn out a little piece like this. You can take it with you. It's really portable, which is nice. And a lot of these stencils are smaller, so you can take those in a little box and you can sit down and you can just start tangling. This one is using some very, very small nibs on your pen, and I use a little bit of Copics. I use some microns. I love them all. Anything that's a pen, I love to do. And you can see I'm just going to draw circles. I don't draw perfect circles. I try really hard, but it never comes out to be perfect. You can see that one just was cattywampus. Sometimes they're ovals, sometimes they're circles. But it doesn't really matter when you start doing this, because once you're finished and you go on to another little pattern and hold it up, you can see that it doesn't really show that you've got little irregular circles. Or sometimes, let me move over here a little bit, we can take and we'll do this big circle and then a little circle, and then you don't have to try and have them all alike. And it just gives it a whole different look. But again, the really nice part about using the stencils is for those folks that are a bit intimidated and say, I can't draw, or I can't draw a straight line, and I can't make a perfect circle. I think everybody at some point in their life has done this kind of thing, and we do it because it helps relax us. So this is a great way to get your any of your students or your customers, if they want to start out doing something else and just kind of stretch a little bit. This is a great way to do it because it allows them to experiment with it without being intimidated by having to draw a specific shape. I use the stencils, I've done their fish. The fish is great. That's a great one to do. It's on the board over here. The fish are wonderful. The peace symbol is this great one.
Very similar to this.
Yes. High blood pressure, and so this high blood pressure, I took my blood pressure before I left. There you go. I took my blood pressure before I left, and it was high, and I went to my doctor, and I sat there, and I was working on some of these, and I just doodled away, and when I went in, my blood pressure was down, and they were like, whoa. And that's I did this product. I'm not sure we're going to do these birds, or I might grab one of the bigger birds.
That was wonderful.